Everyone says you should never buy the cheapest display from AliExpress for flagship phones like the S23 Ultra, but is it really that bad? Today, we're putting that claim to the test. I ordered the absolute cheapest S23 Ultra screen I could find. And in this video, I'll show you the full replacement process and see if it's actually worth your money. We'll start by carefully removing the back glass. Using a thin metal pry tool, we slowly work our way around the edges to lift it up without cracking further. Since we ordered a display that already comes with the frame, we're also taking this chance to try something different. We'll be changing the back glass to a new color for a fresh look. Now that the adhesive is loose, we gently lift the back glass and open it like a book. It feels satisfying when it finally comes off. With the back open, the next step is to carefully remove all the screws holding the metal brackets in place. There are quite a few screws here, so take your time and keep them organized so reassembly is much easier later. Next, we use a pair of fine metal tweezers to carefully disconnect the wireless charging coil from the motherboard. Once it's unplugged, we gently lift it out of the frame and set it aside safely so it doesn't get damaged during the rest of the repair. Now, we disconnect the battery first, then all the remaining flex cables from the motherboard. This step is important to fully isolate power before we remove the old display. Next, we remove all the screws securing the loudspeaker module in place. Take your time here and make sure none of the screws are left behind. With the screws out, we gently lift the loudspeaker using tweezers. Be careful not to damage the display to motherboard cable running just beneath it. Now we carefully disconnect each remaining flex cable from the motherboard using metal tweezers. Work slowly and lift them straight up to avoid bending the connectors. Once they're all free, we gently set the cables aside to keep the work area clear for the next steps. With all the flex cables disconnected, we carefully lift the motherboard out of the frame. Take your time during this step to avoid putting stress on any remaining connectors or small components around the edges. Before moving further, we pop out the SIM tray so the charging board can be removed safely. Next, we carefully remove the battery by pulling the adhesive pull tab. Pull slowly and steadily to avoid bending or puncturing the battery, ensuring it comes out cleanly from the frame. First, we take out the S Pen from its slot carefully. With the S Pen removed, we set the empty frame aside to prepare for the new display assembly. Here's the new back glass we'll be installing, a fresh color to give the phone a completely new look. This is the new display we'll be installing, ready to bring the phone back to life. Before installing the new display, we carefully remove all the protective peel-off stickers from the frame. This is the new display, which comes pre-installed with the frame, making the replacement much faster and easier. With the new frame ready, we carefully position the motherboard into place. Make sure it sits perfectly in its designated area and aligns with all the connectors and brackets. Take your time to adjust it gently so nothing is bent or stressed before moving on to the next steps. Take a look at the front camera and its assembly. We carefully position it back onto the motherboard, making sure it fits perfectly and the connectors are aligned before securing it in place. Now we carefully place the earpiece back into its slot, making sure it sits securely and aligns perfectly with the connectors. Next, we carefully position the charging board into the frame. This board contains important components like the microphone, speaker connections, network antenna, and SIM tray, so it's crucial to be gentle. Align it properly with all the connectors and make sure nothing is pinched or out of place before pressing it down securely. First, we place the battery back into the frame, ensuring it sits properly and the adhesive sticks firmly. Now it's time to reconnect the CC flex cable, which links the back display to the motherboard. Carefully align the connector and press it down until it clicks into place, making sure it's fully seated. Next, we reconnect the strip cables, which handle important signals for sensors and touch functionality. Finally, we reconnect the antenna cable. This one is delicate, so make sure it sits perfectly without bending. Take your time with each connection, double-checking that everything is aligned correctly, because any loose cable can cause issues once the phone is powered on. Once all are properly connected, the assembly is ready for testing. Next, we carefully place the top speaker back into its slot. Make sure it fits snugly and aligns with all the surrounding components, so it won't shift when the phone is reassembled. Now we reconnect the battery to the motherboard, ensuring a secure connection before powering on the device for testing. The phone is booting up. That's always a good sign that everything is connected properly so far. Next, we carefully place the wireless charging coil back into its position. Make sure it sits flat in the frame and aligns properly with the connectors, so charging works efficiently. Take your time to avoid bending or pinching the cable underneath. Now we start putting all the screws back into their original positions. Take your time and make sure each screw goes into the correct hole to avoid damaging the threads or components. Start with the larger screws, then move to the smaller ones, tightening them gently but securely. Keeping the screws organized during disassembly really helps make this process smooth and ensures everything is firmly fixed in place. Here's a quick look at the old back glass versus the new one. The new color really gives the phone a fresh, upgraded look. Next, we carefully remove the flashlight's projector from the old back glass. Gently detach it without applying too much pressure, then transfer it to the new back glass, making sure it fits perfectly in its slot for proper alignment. Before placing the new back glass, we carefully peel off the water seal sticker. This ensures the phone maintains its water resistance once the glass is properly installed. Next, we apply the white adhesive gum around the edges of the frame to secure the back glass. Take your time to spread it evenly so it sticks properly and provides a strong seal. Make sure the adhesive doesn't cover any important components or vents. This step is important not just for holding the back glass, but also for maintaining water resistance and keeping the phone sealed from dust and moisture. Now we carefully place the new back glass on a frame, pressing it gently all around the edges to make sure it sits flush and seals properly. Take your time here so the adhesive bonds well, giving a factory-like finish. With everything back together, we power on the phone and test the touch. It works perfectly, really impressive for such a budget-friendly display. Finally, we pop the SIM tray and South Pin back into place. And that's it. The S23 Ultra is fully repaired, looking fresh with its new back glass and working display. A solid result for a low-cost AliExpress replacement.